sports the bushy mustache of an alpine montagnard, while his sidelong gaze seems to project both wariness and intelligence. His diary, written in German, is plain-spoken, with occasional flights of reverie or passion. On November 17, 1912, despite the disheartening start of the journey across the plateau, Mertz recorded his dawning joy at the prospect of discovery in a brief passage akin to Ninnis's outpouring from the previous January. From now our route goes farther on, into unexplored land, which no human eyes have yet seen. Over the winter, Douglas Mawson had proven himself to be a firm leader who detested idleness and demanded the maximum of effort from his men. Yet he had also won unstinting loyalty from all but one or two, for he had worked harder than all of them, chipping in to help with the most onerous and dangerous of tasks. An innate tendency toward aloofness was tempered by his personal charm. Unlike Scott, who on his expeditions preserved the distinction between officers and men with a naval vigor that extended to separate messes on shipboard, Mawson fraternized constantly with his teammates, ate with them at a communal table, and both gave and sought advice at every hand. Lean, 6 feet 3 inches tall, with piercing blue eyes, Mawson cut a striking figure at the age of 30. In his own way, he was as strong and athletic as Mertz, and his endurance and capacity to withstand pain would become legendary. The best-known studio portrait of Mawson, taken in 1911, reveals an impossibly handsome face with just the hint of a receding hairline. In the photo, Mawson holds a penetrating gaze that proclaims his calm composure and adamantine will. A certain reserve also stamped the man's character. There is little or no evidence of any women in his life before the age of 27, when, at an outdoor dinner party in the Australian mining town of Broken Hill, he met a 17-year-old beauty named Paquita del Prat. She was a well-born daughter of Dutch parents, with an admixture of French and Swiss on her mother's side. It was love at first sight on both sides, although a year would pass before they met again. In December 1910, they became engaged, but their marriage would be postponed until after the completion of the AAE. Throughout the expedition, Mawson wrote letters to Paquita, even though he knew it would be months before she would be able to read them. And from the Netherlands and Australia, Paquita wrote her own letters, even as her fears about her beloved's safety grew and darkened in what she called this everlasting silence. Just an hour before his departure on the great overland journey that would win Mawson his lasting fame, he wrote to Paquita from the hut on November 10. I have 2 good companions, Dr. Mertz and Lieutenant Ninnis. It is unlikely that any harm will happen to us, but should I not return to you in Australia, please know that I truly loved you, from an admiration of your spirit. Goodbye, my darling. May God keep and bless and protect you. Since the second decade of the 20th century, Mawson has lurked in the shadow of his contemporaries Scott, Shackleton, and the great Norwegian polar explorer Roald Amundsen. In part, this is because he was Australian. Though born in England, Mawson emigrated to New South Wales with his family at the age of 2. But the greater reason for the neglect of Mawson and the AAE lies in the fact that, unlike nearly all the Antarctic explorers of what is called the Heroic Age, 1897 to 1917, Mawson was completely uninterested in reaching the South Pole. What mattered to the man instead, and what drove the vast ambitions of the AAE, was the urge to explore land that had never before been seen by human eyes, and to bring back from the southern continent the best science that men in the field might be capable of. The AAE, then, had set its focus on the stretch of Antarctica that lay directly south of Australia, a 2,000-mile-long swath of ice and land that was still terra incognita. After wintering over at Cape Denison, Mawson had divided his team into 3-man sledging parties, each sent out to explore in different directions. His own far eastern part